Had a look at these key influencers so we can see as a whole what is happening to our data. But what if you've got one particular point you want to question? So, for example, suppose you wanted to know why this 2016 point was so much higher than 2015. Well, what we can do is right and click on it and go to Analyze and explain the increase or explain the decrease. So it's going to use the same artificial intelligence that power the key influencers to explain the difference between that point and the previous point. So a 6.04% increase. Now, some of the explanations are not going to be helpful. For example, North, Northwest and Midlands had the most significant impact. Well, that's the only three areas we've got. However, if I scroll down to here, you can see West Midlands and Greater Manchester are the ones which had the most significant impact among the region names. So we can see here the West Midlands going up from an average price of 153,000 up to 166,000, so an increase of 13,000. Similarly, with Greater Manchester, it's gone up from 152,000 to 163,000. So if we were to look at another one, West Yorkshire, it's gone up by 9,000 as opposed to the 13,000 or the 11,000 for Greater Manchester. So it has had the most significant impact. It doesn't mean that it's the only impactful thing, but this may be something to have a look at in terms of why there's an increase. You can also see that we've got a dashed line representing the average for 2015, so you can see how much they've increased. And you can see also if you click on any of these buttons that Greater Manchester or West Midlands will be highlighted. Now we can give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. That just provides feedback to Microsoft. It doesn't actually do anything else. Or we can click the plus, and this adds this visualization to the page. So I'll just click away from it, and now we've got this visualization, and we can choose to do what we wish because everything is in here just like a normal visualization. Now if we take another example, why do we have a peak all the way up here? So if I right and click and go to Analyze, Explain the increase and scroll down, you can see that the Yorkshires had the most significant increase among the region names. So Yorkshires went up from 42% to 68% compared to other, which was just 45 to 57. And you can see at the bottom that we've got different visualizations we can quickly have a look at while explaining this increase. Now, sometimes it might not be a particular point, but it might be the distribution. So here we've got all of our bins. So our grouping, our binning that we had a look at a few videos ago. Now, there will be some regions where the distribution won't be like this, and it might be interesting to see which particular regions those are. So I can right and click on any point. Now here it doesn't really matter about the particular point, because I'm not going to be asking Power BI to explain the difference between this point and the previous point. I'm just going to get it to look at the distribution as a whole. So find where this distribution is different. So here is the distribution that we've had. So you can see this here in the background over here. Now look at Tyne & Wear, the bars. Quite a different distribution, so we've got quite a lot right at the beginning. It is very front loaded, and we've not much of a tail over here. Compare this with Greater Manchester, where we got more of a tail and very little at the beginning, and similarly for West Midlands. Now, just 1 point, this is the totality of all of our regions, but we are saying that Tyne & Wear goes all the way up here. In reality, of course, it doesn't. It is a subset of this. Here we are just comparing proportions. We are not having a look at like with like. And we can see on the right hand side we've got an axis for all sales volume going 0 to 400, whilst here on the left hand side it's just Tyne & Wear 0 to about 70 when we get to 400. So it's comparing proportions. If we didn't want that and we wanted everything to be on the same axis, then I would get rid of this. And here you can see Tyne & Wear as the subset of the totality. So here is Greater Manchester, and here is the West Midlands. And again, we can add any visualizations that you like to the page. Now, there are a few restrictions. So at the time of recording, the Analyze feature won't work with certain type of filters. So for instance, top N filters, it won't work with. In addition, some of the data types are not currently supported: direct query and live connect. Basically anything which is not using the standard import. However, outside of those, if you want to find out why one particular point is different from its neighbour, Or if you want to have a look at the distribution of all of the points and where it might be different, have a look at Analyze, and you can explain the increase or decrease, or find out where this distribution